Hi guys, welcome to the short tutorial that I've got today for you. It's the Honda Civic Type-R EP3 model, and it's if you've got a light bulb that's failed in the instrument cluster. The bulb that illuminates the right hand side of the speedometer has failed, and what that's doing is meaning that we can't see the numbers on the right as clearly as we might like to do, and also we can't see the illumination of the needle on the left hand side because it's the same bulb that drives that particular system. I'm going to walk you through how I changed the bulb and what steps I took and what problems I also encountered, and hopefully that will help you out with your endeavours.
Okay, so removing the instrument binnacle, first of all just pull from the top and you'll find it snaps out, and then the right and then the left. It's just retained by some fairly small clips, very easy to remove. Then going to need a screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver. You can use a posi, but it won't work as well, so Phillips is the way to go ahead. Short one for the top screw, and then probably a longer one for the bottom screw. And don't worry about dropping these. Behind the cluster that you're removing, there isn't anywhere for that particular screw to drop down, so you can just let it drop down. If you've got a magnetic screwdriver like I have, so much the better. Once you've undone these two screws, ease the instrument binnacle out, and what you need to do is remove the two clips at the top with the wires on. So there's a blue and a green, which you'll see in a moment. So out comes the binnacle now, or the cluster, and there's a small clip that holds those in. So squeeze the little piece of plastic and then remove. The blue one's easiest to get to. I found the green a little bit more difficult. If you find it hard to get your finger in here, you can always use a flat bladed screwdriver. Once that's done, remove the instruments and you're away. Now, I decided to buy some LED replacement bulbs, and I got those off of eBay, about £2 for 10, and it seemed a great idea at the time. So they arrived and unwrapped them, and they were just a direct replacement. The bulbs you need are 286. That's the number. And you can buy them with the holder, direct from Honda, but each bulb is about, I think it's nearly £6 for a bulb. You can see £2.49 there, and that did, well, 10 of them. So once you've got your bulbs, first of all, remove all these little black holders from the instrument panel. You just can do that using your thumb and finger. If you really need to, you could use some pliers, but they should release easily. Take them all out, and notice at the top right there are two which don't have bulbs in. That's intentional, so make a mental note that those don't get replaced. When you take them out, find out which bulb has failed. Now I'm changing, or removing, all of my bulbs in this case, because what I'm doing is replacing them all with the LED bulbs. As you'll see, this is actually not the final version of what I did, but I took all of the incandescents out and replaced them all with LED bulbs. So there they are removed, and then the LEDs just snap back in. And one of the problems I found, as you'll see later, is LEDs seem to require directional current going in. So the incandescents, it doesn't matter which way around it is, the electricity goes in, the filament heats up, and everything's good. But the LEDs, not so much. There we go, 10 LEDs changed out. Refitting, they should go in fairly easily. Now, the first time through, I found they were very, very stiff, and I used pliers to tighten them up a little bit. But actually, once I put them in the second time, and I think the key is making sure you've got the holders in the same direction that you had them when you took them out, they just went in by hand really easily. They don't go as horizontal as you can see the first two that I put in with the pliers went. They end up at a slight angle. If you go back in the video and have a look earlier on, you'll see what I mean. With all of those fitted, it's time to replace the instruments, and I suggest loose fitting it and not screwing it in until you've checked. Now this is where I find out LEDs are not everything they're cracked up to be. So I'm just putting mine back into the Type-R. I'm going to connect up those two plugs that we saw earlier. So green one in first, and then the blue. There we go, snapped in. And then we'll power the car up. So there we go. And of course it falls over. And what you've probably noticed is that the illumination's very harsh from those LEDs. It's like a torchlight. So looking particularly at the odometer, you can see there's a huge white spot in the middle of it. Also, some of the lights aren't working. So actually, the problem I had earlier, well, I've got no speedo light at all. It's not worked, has it? So having failed with the LEDs, I decided to replace just 4 bulbs. These were the ones which had shown signs that they either failed or were failing, and went out, bought some normal incandescents and popped those in. I also put the original bulbs back that were good, and the result was a set of working clocks, as you can see here. So to recap, I would suggest using either original Honda or incandescents and not LEDs.
Well, there we go, guys. That's what I did to fix the problem in my Type-R, and it's now hopefully good for another 160,000 miles, although I'm not sure the clutch, which is still the first one, is. Okay, take care. Thanks. Bye.